Hello friends, good evening. Welcome to Mission Possible. This is Bharat, a chartered accountant by profession, and we are covering JIB modules, and this module is from your PPB and the unit 4. This relates to money markets, debt markets and forex market, a very important chapter both in terms of your exam and also in terms of your knowledge perspective, because this is very much useful for all of you being bankers. You can learn a lot of things related to money market and debt market, which is useful for your career as well. So let's just quickly started with this chapter. So financial markets, the first thing that you need to learn is financial markets are broadly classified into two types. So one is called as short-term fund market, another one is called as long-term fund market. The another name for long-term fund market is capital market, and for short-term funds it is called as money market. So the tenor of the financial instruments, if it is less than 1 year, then it is called as money market instruments. If it is greater than 1 year, it is called as capital market instruments. So now this financial money market instruments came because a lot of short-term borrowings and lendings were required to be happening in the market between financial institutions, between banks. So that is the main reason for evolution of your money market. Chakravarti Committee in 1985 first time underlined the need for an organized money market, and Wagul Committee again laid the blueprint for that. You should remember this committee names. Sometimes it can come as a question in your exam. So now just get started with the money market concept. Call money market. The money market is a market for short-term financial assets. So that is the most important thing which you should always keep in mind. Short-term financial assets that can be used as money substitutes. That means instead of dealing in money, you can deal with a money market instruments. It is just like kind of a receipt, or if you do a bill of exchange, just you get like a paper. So it is same like that. It is an alternative for money, and the most significant attribute of a money market instrument that it is liquid. That means it can be easily converted into cash. It is just equivalent of cash. Instead of cash, you will be having the receipt. You can go and give that receipt to someone who has to give you the money, and you can collect the money. So that's why it is called as very liquid and can be converted into money quickly and at a cheaper cost. It also serves as a means of balancing lender short-term surplus with borrowers needs. So this is one of the main reasons for evolution of a money market. That means in short-term period for less than 1 year, people needed a lot of money. At the same time, there were people who are having a lot of money. So instead of putting them in FD, they can use this option of money market instruments and earn better interest by rotating the money within a period of 1 year. So the loans that are of short-term duration is generally called as call money market, 1 to 14 days. Again, there is sub classification. That means if the money is lent for only 1 day, it is called as call money. If it is greater than 1 but less than 15, it is called as a notice money, and anything over and above 15 days is called as term money. So these definitions also is very useful for you in your exam. So you should remember that call money again has 3 sub classifications. For 1 day call money, for greater than 1 and less than 15 notice money, and for greater than 15 it is called as term money. So now we will just see who are the participants in this market. Participants in the call money market are mostly banks and related entities specified by the RBI. This is very important. Majorly commercial banks and few other institutions which are nominated or selected by the RBI are only allowed to participate in call money market. Scheduled commercial banks excluding RRB. RRBs are not allowed. Cooperative banks other than land development banks, they are not allowed. And primary dealers. Primary dealers are those who deal in government securities. They are allowed to participate in call or notice money market both as borrowers and lenders. And as per the new regulations, even payment banks are also allowed to participate in call money market as lenders and borrowers. But it all happens under the supervision of RBI. Only RBI approved or selected institutions or commercial banks are allowed to participate in the call money market. The loans are obtained through a bidding or negotiation process. That means those who require the loan will bid for it, and those who give the higher interest rate will get the loan. The auction is based on the rate of interest. So that's why the one of the disadvantage of call money market is that there are large interest rate fluctuations. The interest rate fluctuations are very large in call money market because of this bidding and negotiation process. That means if there are two players who need money and there is only one person who is going to lend you money, so the person who bids at a higher interest rate gets the loan. So the interest rate fluctuations in a call money market is very wide, and the loan will be given to the highest bidder. So this is one of the disadvantages of call money market. And the call rate is nothing but the average interest rate in the call market. Negotiated trading system is the electronic trading platform used to deal with call money. So there is a online platform through which call money transactions are happened, and this is also controlled by RBI only. The call money market is also known as the most sensitive segment of the financial statement, mainly because of the huge fluctuations in interest rates and very short term borrowing and lending. So now we will see the borrowing limits. In the call notice money market, scheduled commercial banks are allowed to borrow up to 125% of their capital funds, but their fortnightly average borrowing outstanding should not exceed 100% of their capital funds, both tier 1 and tier 2 capital. These amounts or these limits you should keep in mind always, friends. This can come as a question in your MCQ. And at the same time, the scheduled commercial banks can lend. So this is first about borrowing, and the next one is about lending to the extent of 50% of their capital funds on any day during a fortnight, but average fortnight outstanding lending should not exceed 25% of the capital funds. So this is also important. Cooperative banks are permitted to borrow up to 2% of their aggregate deposits as at the end of March of the previous financial year. So given cooperative societies can borrow, but the limit is only 2% of their aggregate deposits. And there is no limit for lending. Primary dealers can borrow on an average in a report in fortnight up to 225% of the net owned funds as at the end of March of the previous financial year, and lend on an average in a reporting fortnight up to 25% of their net operating fund. So this is related to your primary dealers. So please keep in mind all these limits. For the normal scheduled commercial banks, it is 125% of borrowing, and the lending can be up to 50% of their capital funds. And with regards to these cooperative banks, it is up to 2% of your aggregate deposits which you can borrow at the end of financial year. And for primary dealers, they can average borrow up to 225%. It's the highest of their all three which we have learned till now, and 225% of the net owned funds, and also they can lend an average up to 25% of their net owned funds. So this is something which you need to remember. These limits are very important. Now coming to the instruments of money market. So apart from your call money market, there are a lot of other instruments which mainly happen in your financial market segment. So we will learn about this one by one. I'll just try to explain the meaning in a simple and crisp manner so that you don't get confused. So first one is your treasury bills. So first we will get started with treasury bills. So treasury bills, it is issued by RBI on behalf of the government. So it is the most safest of your money market instruments because it is backed by government support, and the government uses them to meet their short-term liquidity crunch, and they are a zero risk because it is backed by a government support. And the three types of treasury bills are 91 days maturity, 182 and 364. State government cannot issue treasury bills. You need to keep in mind only RBI on behalf of the central government can issue treasury bills, and the scheme through which these treasury bills are issued is called as market stabilization scheme, and it is available for a minimum amount of 25,000 and thereafter in multiples of 25,000. Whenever RBI issues a treasury bill, it is actually hosted in the website, and frequently RBI keeps issuing these treasury bills, and we already know that it is issued at a lesser price than face value. That means if it is 100, then it is issued at 90, and again it is redeemed at 100 rupees. So that is how this difference of 10 rupees is your income. Okay, that is how these treasury bills operates. So treasury bills are the most safest of your money market instrument. Now next, coming to call money. Call money is something which we have just learned now. Interbank market where funds are borrowed and lent for 1 day or less. So that is all about your call and call market. So if it is for 1 day, it is called as call. If it is for 1 to 15, it is called as notice money. So that is the only difference. Duration from 1 to 14 days, together it is called as call money market. It doesn't matter if it is for 1 day or 1 to 15 days, all come under the category of call money market. Mutual fund, scheduled commercial and cooperative banks both act as borrowers or lenders. It is entirely regulated by RBI and it is the most liquid and it doesn't require any collaterals. It is unsecured loan. This is something which you need to remember. It is an unsecured loan. That means no collateral is required and large interest rate fluctuations are the only disadvantage of your call money market, whereas the advantage is that it is most liquid. That means you can get the money in a click of a phone call because people are available to give money and there are people who require money, so it just happens quickly on a phone call or on the online platform and things are decided. That's why the rate of interest is very fluctuating. So that is all about your call money. Next we will move to certificate of deposit. So certificate of deposit is issued by scheduled commercial banks and other financial institutions. It is issued in demat form. It is actually issued in demat form against your bank deposit, against your bank deposits. RRBs and local banks cannot issue CDs. This is important, which you need to remember. Issued at a discount to face value. The discount rate is negotiated between the issuer and the investor and the minimum amount is 1 lakh. And CDs issued by banks have a maturity period of 15 days to 1 year and CDs which are issued by the financial institutions have maturity period of 1 to 3 years and it can be issued to individuals as well as firms and the higher return as compared to treasury bills, because in treasury bills it is backed by government support, the return will be bit lesser, whereas in CDs the return is higher and also it is issued at a discounted price. The tenure can range from 7 days to even 1 year, not just 15 days, it can be even 7 days also, and it can be brought even by individuals, corporates and NRIs. So that is something which you need to keep in mind. This is issued in demat form against your bank deposits. Next is commercial papers. This is also unsecured. That is the most important thing which you need to remember. Unsecured promissory notes issued by large corporates, primary dealers, satellite dealers and all India financial institutions. They are mostly, these commercial papers are issued by corporates and the maturity period is between 7 days to 1 year. It can be even from 1 to 270 days. It can be even from one day to 270 days and the minimum amount is 5 lakhs or multiples of that. But the one most important criteria or condition of commercial paper is that it needs to have a credit rating from a credit rating agency. That means as it is issued by corporate people, we do not know how far we can get the money that we invested. That means what if the corporate gets insolvent? So that's why mostly commercial papers are issued by only the big players or the big corporates. Recently, if you have seen Reliance Industries, HDFC or even your Vedanta or National Bank Agriculture for Rural Development, they also issued these commercial papers and they are traded in secondary debt market and credit rating is compulsory. Only commercial papers with a good credit rating, credit rating generally, if you can see, it is A, double A, triple A and at the same time B, double B, triple B. So these are the general credit rating which is offered to large corporates. A higher credit rating if you are in A category will ensure that you get a good return and also your commercial paper is subscribed by people who need it. That means if I am Reliance Industry and I issue a commercial paper for borrowing some money, my commercial paper will be taken by people only if they feel that I can repay it, isn't it? What if they feel that I am not in a position to repay it? Then the commercial paper will go unsold. So that's why commercial papers are mostly issued by large corporates with very good credit rating and the tenor can range from 7 days to 1 year. It can even start from 1 day to 270 days also and the minimum amount is 5 lakhs, right? Next is commercial bills. So commercial bills also are similar to your commercial papers. Here what happens is negotiable instruments which are issued by all India financial institutions, NBFCs, scheduled commercial banks and drawn by the seller on the buyer. Buyer gives seller, hence also called as trade bills. Here what happens is seller, there is a seller. He sells goods to a person called as buyer. Okay, buyer gives a bill. That means he will pay the money bill. So this bill is actually traded in the bill market. This bill is actually traded in the bill market and the tenor is in general 3 to 6 months. Hope you understood. So I'll just explain this with the help of a small. So A sold goods to B. Sold. Okay. He is the buyer. So instead of paying money, what he does is he gives a bill. So this bill, what does A now? This bill is given to A. So A goes and negotiates this bill in the bill market. There is something called as bill market. So there are people like your banks, mutual funds, financial institutions who are ready to take this bill and give money to A instantly. If this bill is for a period of 90 days, what happens is A will go and put this bill in the bill market and he will get money from the banks immediately. Instead of 100 rupees, he will get 90 rupees. So that is the discounted value. Whereas after 90 days, the bankers and the mutual fund institutions will get this money from the buyer. It is simple and very much similar to your bills of discounting. In bills of discounting, what you do is you go and discount it with a bank, whereas in commercial bills, you go and discount it in a bill market. It is like an open market, whereas banks, mutual funds and financial institutions can all trade in this commercial bills. So that is the only difference between your commercial bills and normal bills of exchange. Next is cash management bills. It is a new short-term instrument which is issued by RBI similar to your treasury bills, and it is issued to meet temporary mismatches. That means whenever there is a temporary disparity between your inflow and outflow, then this kind of an instrument is issued by RBI and the tenor is less than 90 days. So this is something which you need to remember. So apart from this, I will also like to draw your attention to some other money market instruments which are not listed here, but I just wanted you to have a knowledge of it. So apart from this, if you see, there is something called as repurchase agreements. There is something called as repurchase agreements. This is also one kind of a short-term money market instrument. It is a short-term loan where two parties agree to purchase and sell the same security. Same security. What kind of security it is, sir? Only government securities, and a few corporate bonds which are specified by RBI can be used as security. So what happens is A and B, two parties, A needs money, so he will give some security in order to collect money from B, and he will agree to purchase it back at a predetermined rate. So the rate can be lower than what he is giving initially. That means if he deposits a security of 100, he says that instead of 100 you give me only 90 rupees, balance 10 rupees is your income. So it is actually a predetermined transaction wherein both the parties agree to enter into the transaction at a predetermined price. A will deposit or give the security to B and collect the money, and then after some days A will repurchase the same from B. So this is called as a repo market, and only RBI approved parties can enter into these kind of transactions. Only RBI approved parties. So this is also very important, which you need to remember, friends. So apart from this, the next that we will learn is about bankers acceptance. Hope you have learnt about this somewhere else. Bankers acceptance is similar to your bills of exchange transaction, but there is a minute difference which I will just let you know. So in this, what happens is, if there are two countries, country A, pardon my handwriting, country B. Okay, here there is an exporter, here there is an importer. So exporter will sell the goods to importer, and the importer will give a bank guarantee or a bank document. So this is the crux of the transaction in bankers acceptance. So this bank guarantee, the exporter, whoever receives this bank guarantee, he can straight away go and submit this bank guarantee in open money market at discount, just like discounting your bills of exchange. It is similar to your commercial bills or bills of exchange, but here the transaction that is traded in the open money market is your bank guarantee or your banker's acceptance. So it is very popular because it is backed by a banker. That means the chances of the payment failing is very negligible. It is very negligible because only popular banks bank guarantee or banker's acceptance will be traded in open money market. If you give some normal bank which doesn't have a reputation, then it is not going to fetch you any money in the open market. Only popular banks like SBI or Bank of New York or something like Standard Chartered Bank, if those banks give you bank guarantee, then that banker acceptance documents can be traded in open money market at a discount, and the period it is generally 130 to 180 days, just like your banker's usance. Usance periods means the period of credit offered by the seller to the buyer. So this 30 days to 180 days, the banker, the person who is exporting this, can straight away discount it in the open money market and get the money, and whatever is the interest charge of discounting, it is negotiated between both the parties who are dealing in this transaction. This is also one kind of short-term money market instrument, friends, right? Next we will move to one more concept. There is something called as money market mutual funds. Okay, money market mutual funds, what they do is, the mutual fund companies who are there, they will go and invest in money market instruments. They will go and invest in money market instruments on behalf of small investors, So this is called as money market mutual funds. It is regulated totally by SEBI, because small players sometimes cannot directly invest in money market instruments like commercial papers or in commercial bills, because the process is a bit cumbersome, and also mostly money market instruments are operated by brokers. Only it is regulated through brokers. There are huge brokers, especially banks like Citibank and HSBC. They are the major players in this money market. So we as retailers cannot directly participate in it because of the procedural difficulty. That's why the mutual funds have an option of investing in money market instruments, and that is called as money market mutual funds. Apart from this, just one last concept in money market instruments. It is called as CBLO. It is called as CBLO. It means collateralized borrowing and lending obligations. Collateralized borrowing and lending obligation. It is actually operated by your CCIL, and the participants who are there in this can avail short-term loans by providing collaterals. And it is similar to your call money market, but it is secured by collaterals, whereas in your call money there is no collaterals. There is no collaterals in call money, whereas in CBLE there is collaterals, and the tenure is 1 day to 1 year, and the eligible collaterals are government securities again and others which are mentioned by CCIL, and it is again bidding. It is done through the process of bidding, and again there may be some interest rate or fluctuations because bidding process is coming in. So this is also which you need to keep in mind. CBLO, collateralized borrowing and lending obligation. It is regulated by your CCIL, and the most important thing which differentiates this from your call money is collateral. Okay, so far we have learnt a lot of short-term money market instruments apart from the one which is regularly used, and next we will move to debt market. Debt market is fairly simple because it is a larger tenure instrument, and the Indian debt market is a place where fixed income instruments can be traded, bought or sold, securities issued by both the federal and state governments, municipal corporations, government bodies. All these are called as debt market. A bond debt can be defined as a loan in which investor is the lender. The issuer of the bond pays the investor an interest in return for the amount invested. The Indian debt market offers a variety of debt instruments, and a lot of new instruments are there. Good liquidity is there, good interest rates, and it is properly regulated. And the two broad segments are government securities market and corporate debt market. The corporate debt market is further divided into PSU bonds and private sector bonds. PSU bonds means those bonds which are issued by your public sector enterprises, whereas the private sector bonds which are issued by your private enterprises. They can issue even debentures, they can issue bonds. It depends upon the necessity. Debentures and bonds are both one and the same. It is nothing but a loan taken from the people. In debentures carries your amount of interest rate, even bonds carries a coupon rate, but the only differentiating feature is like in case of debentures there are options of converting it into equity, whereas in bonds generally that kind of an option doesn't exist. So that is the only difference or only major reason people generally prefer bonds, and sometimes people even prefer debentures as well. It depends upon the necessity and the circumstances. The corporate bond market broadly comprises corporate sector raising debt through public issuance in capital market and also through private placement. That means it can even offer the shares in stock exchanges, or it can offer private placement. Private placement means to a group of specified financial institutions who will subscribe. They would have already discussed among themselves and they would have told that we will purchase all your shares, so it is issued as a private placement. There is something called as qualified institutional placement, that is also similar to your private placement with a minor deviation. So next is coming to foreign exchange market. So this foreign exchange market, again, it's the trading of foreign currencies, and then we will also move to FEMA. FEMA is again one important concept. So if I continue with this, the video length will become bigger. So hence I will just stop this and I will make a part 2 of this lesson, because this lesson is very, very important. I have taken my time to explain this. So try to please understand the meaning of each and every short-term money market instrument and also debt market. Debt market is fairly simple, whereas the most important concepts in this lesson are related to your short-term money market instruments. In the next part of this video, we will learn about forex transactions and we will learn more about FEMA transactions, like what is a capital account transaction, what is a current account transaction, and how to identify the differentiation between the capital and current account transaction. So that's it for today, friends. Thank you for watching my video. If you have any doubts, please just join this Telegram channel. The link is given in the description below, and I'll be happy to offer any kind of help to you. Thank you, friends. Have a nice day.